Excellent. So it being about 4 o'clock on August 16th, 2023, I'm going to call this meeting of the Finance Subcommittee meeting of Gardner Elementary School to order. Dr. Hammond, would you mind calling the roll, please?
Dr. Pellegrino,
Present.
Wayne Anderson,
Present.
Bob Hankinson,
Present.
Jennifer Plavin,
Present.
Bob Schwartz,
Present.
Mark Hawk,
Present.
Josh Cormier.
Present.
We have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Awesome. So moving right along, can we have a motion to approve the minutes of July 19th, 2023?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing no discussion, can I put the matter to roll call vote to approve the minutes from July 19th, 2023? Dr. Hammond?
Dr. Pellegrino,
Yes.
Wayne Anderson,
Yes.
Robert Hankinson,
Yes.
Jennifer Plavin,
Yes.
Bob Schwartz,
Yes.
Mark Hawk. Mark
Yes.
Hawk
Yes.
and Josh Cormier.
Yes.
It's a vote, Mr. Chairman.
Excellent. Moving on to the next thing, approval of bills and orders.
Mr. Chairman, we have 4 bills to pay. The Collier bill, I guess it's my fault, I missed it, and I put it out this afternoon. I was on the road coming back up to Maine, so I put it on out about 1 o'clock to everybody. I missed it, I guess, but Alan Minkus got it to me. So we have a bid from Collier's, $5,212.06. Jones Winsett, $4,606.55. Bacon Construction, $420,686.19. And we have one from Allied Testing for $500. I would point out, if I've read wrong, whatever the invoice says is the number that we would go with. So we need to approve all of those for payment.
Okay, and the new one, could you repeat the new one again for me?
That was from Collier's for $5,212.06. Unfortunately, I take the blame. Alan told me he had got it to me earlier, and I missed it in the email, so I got it this morning from him. So that's the only one. The other 3 you had received.
Okay. So first okay, so do I hear a motion to approve? Yep, Bob, you're on mute. Did you want to, you're motioning to approve?
Yes, I'll motion to, okay, Bob.
Bob Schwartz,
Hankinson.
seconded. Thank you very
And
much.
I'll second.
You, Bob.
And I'll second.
Any discussion on the motion? To approve the bills, okay. Hearing no discussion, let's put the matter to roll call vote. Dr. Hammond?
Dr. Pellegrino,
Yes.
Wayne Anderson,
Yes.
Robert Hankinson. Yes, okay.
He's giving a thumbs up,
Bob
yes, I see that visual.
Bob Schwartz,
Yes.
Mark Hawk. Mark Hawk,
You're on mute.
Josh Cormier. It's a vote with even without his vote.
Oh.
It's a vote.
Oh, hold on one second. Something's wrong with the muting. Give me 1 second here. I think that's a thing. Try it now to unmute yourself.
Now it's working.
Yes, there we go.
Awesome.
Mark Hawk,
Yes.
thank you. It's a vote, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I'm not.
Steve, we lost you there, buddy.
Because he's in Maine.
I don't know if you heard me, Mr. Chairman, but I'm up here and sometimes my internet will freeze on me. So I think I've got everything I needed for votes right now.
Yeah, we didn't hear anything that you said, but I'm sure it was brilliant.
Thank you.
Okay, so there's no other bills or orders to approve? Moving on.
Correct.
Okay, excellent. Moving on to the OPM report.
Thanks, Mark. I'll just go through the finances. I'll share my screen if I could.
Yep.
Okay, this is the budget that you've seen before. Again, our budget in column A, invoices that have been submitted to date, contracts that we have in column C, but really column F is what we think of what's been approved would be eligible for reimbursement from the MSBA. And then column G, what we think we would get back based on that. So if I can scroll down to the bottom, we had a budget of $82.2 million. We've approved invoices in the neighborhood of 76.5 million. We have total contracts outstanding for 78.6 million. But of the 76.5 that we've approved, we're estimating that about just under 58 million would be considered reimbursable by the MSBA. And at the city's reimbursement rate that it would be reimbursement of 46.3 million. So if you've laid out 76.6 basically, and you'd be getting back 46.3 of that. So is what we anticipated. It's going along well. We still have a little bit of ways to go. You can see there's only under $2 million left in contracts that are out, that have been encumbered to date. We may have some other things, miscellaneous little changes that we may do that may add to that, but just wrapping up the finances on the project, coming down to the end.
Okay. Excellent. Any questions for Tim? Comments, concerns? Okay, hearing none. If that's all we have, let's move on to the report from the architects. Christian.
Great. I will also share screen here real quick. This one's also pretty brief for today. So I did not send out a summary of PCOs, just a proposed change order number 31. 30 was wrapped up with the items that we discussed at our last meeting. This was actually already approved on a time and materials basis. This is to remove the rubber mulch. We knew that the contractor would have to do that before installing the port in place rubber. And we wanted to remove it and use it within the district if we can. And I think that is still the plan. So this was done at a time and materials basis, and it came to $12,043. And that's the only PCO to review for today.
Mr. Chairman, and Christian, you do have to go back to 30 because it was approved at the last meeting, but you deleted one of the items, so that's why it needs to be revoted. If you remember the third item that was taken on 30, the PCO, then we created a purchase order, a change order, but that thing was removed. Do you have 30 up there?
Sure, I can bring both up. So this is 30, and I'll bring up the narrative from last time too. 1 second. We had item 437, which was approved at a not to exceed, and we're still discussing that one with the contractor right now. We think that it should come down substantially because we don't need, or we thought the contract documents covered many of the controls that we were asking for. So we have ignored 437 for now, even though it was approved at the last building committee meeting. And so change order 30 only incorporates these top three, 419, 426, and 436. So let me pull that up. Change order 30 is right here for a total of $17,165.
We would need to formally vote 30 and then formally vote 31.
Those have
I'll
to be
formally
two
move
individual votes, Steve, or can we wrap those together?
I think it's better to vote them separately.
Great.
I will formally move change order 30.
And I'll
Excellent.
second.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion?
Can I ask one question?
Yep. Yes.
Do we usually approve these without the signature of the contractor as well? Both 30 and 31 seem to have the architect's signature, but there's no approval signature from the contractor or the owner.
There has been a previous approval. And when we get this, once this committee approves them, then we get the contract, the mayor to sign, and then the contractor. The contractor has agreed to them already. We wouldn't bring it forward till they've agreed.
Okay, I was just questioning the lack of signature on the contractor side. Thank you, Steve.
Well, I have 30, we have a signature for 30 taken care of because the contractor wanted to be able to do some billing. So that was taken care of because those items were approved. But this is a formal document to make sure we have the formal documents in place. That's why I'm kind of insistent on it.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion or questions?
Yes, just the, regarding the PCO, the rubber mulch. The DPW is taking the rubber mulch, I believe, using it at the Jackson Playground. So we're repurposing it on another city playground.
Good to know. All right, anything else? All right, hearing no discussion, let's put the matter to a roll call vote.
We need a motion in a second.
I thought we had a
Mark?
motion in a second, didn't we? We had Mark's
Yes.
motion
Mark,
for, this is
And
for
I
PTO
seconded.
30. And then Jen
Okay.
seconded it, yep.
Thank you. Dr. Pellegrino,
Yes,
Wayne Anderson,
Yes,
Robert Hankinson,
yes,
Jennifer Plavin,
yes.
Bob Schwartz,
yes,
Mark Hawk,
Yes,
and Josh Cormier.
Yes,
It's a vote, Mr. Chairman.
excellent,
Next would be 31.
excellent. Do I
I
hear a
make a motion to approve 31.
Thank you, Mark.
second.
And I'll second.
Thank you, Josh and Jen. Any discussion on
Jen
the
can have
motion?
it.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing no discussion, let's put the matter to a roll call vote.
Dr. Pellegrino,
Yes,
Wayne Anderson,
yes,
Jennifer Plavin,
Yes,
Bob Schwartz,
yes,
Mark Hawk,
Yes,
and Josh Cormier.
Yes,
It's a vote.
Bob
Mr.
Hankinson, yes.
Oh, did I miss you, Bob?
Unfortunately, but
I'm sorry.
survive.
Bob Hankinson. Thank you. I got a wrist rope. Sorry. Okay. Thank you. It's a vote, Mr. Chairman.
luckily Bob's confident. I'm sure his ego can handle that oversight. Thank you, Bob, for your flexibility. Any other, anything else, Christian?
No, that's it on the PCO front.
Excellent. Is there any old business, new business, or other business that come before this subcommittee? Excellent. Public comment? Mr. Rockwood, anybody else?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. As you know, I've been attending a lot of these meetings over the past, well, almost 4 years now. And a couple of things have come up in the community. And one of them was why the outside property looks so bad. And I know why, because I've been attending the meetings. But I'd kind of like to get that formally stated so that people can watch it on the YouTube video and see why certain things are not being done.
All right, great question. Who would like to actually, I think that's a good question to answer and publicly, because it is a question that's out there. Can someone succinctly address that? Tim, Christian, Matt?
Christian, you want to handle that one?
Sure. Steve, I guess just to drill down a little bit, are there specific items or concerns?
I think it was the landscaping.
Well, it has to do with the landscaping and the fact that there are, well, let's just call them weeds growing everywhere, sort of out of control. And people think that looks lousy. But I know there's a reason.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like to have it formally stated so everyone can see that reason.
So it's a good question and a bit of a complicated answer in that, well, it's a large site. So different portions of the site are going to be treated differently. In general, I guess I'll start off by saying that the weeds got out of hand and the design team was not very happy with it. It was an issue with the weeds getting out of control during the last growing season, the contractor not quite being ready to start weeding and watering at the time when we all expected that that would happen. They were managing some of the other portions of the project and just couldn't get to that scope. So we're right now approaching a fall growing season, and our landscape architect has been out there quite a bit recently, working with the contractor and their subs, and they are doing a much better job of a weeding effort now in anticipation of that fall growing season. We'll be planting a lot of things. Down towards the Pearl Street entrance, there's a wetland replication area, and the Conservation Commission is quite interested in how that process goes out, what seed mix they use, how it's dispersed. And so we're working on that with the contractor right now. So I think that area down there will look a lot better in the coming months. So I think in general on kind of like maintenance, upkeep, and how the site in general looks, I would say that that's the overarching issue, is that we just didn't have time last year, or the contractor didn't have time last year. And we're making much more of a considered effort right now before the fall growing season, which we're happy to see, and took quite a bit of pressure from the design team to achieve those results. And I think, you know, we're getting there. I will also say that in general, you know, this was envisioned as a school in the woods. And so there are areas where we want the play areas to be quite, you know, manicured and kept up. And we have this really nice poured in place rubber surfacing that's going in as we speak under some of the play equipment. A very nice sod area to the north of the A wing that can almost be used as a field. But that throughout the site, it really was seen as a more native approach to plantings. And I know on past projects, there have been, you know, different factions within the community, and some thinks it looks fantastic and more natural, and some feel that it looks a little bit quote unquote unkept. So certainly the massive weeds that we're seeing, you know, a few months ago, that's not the unkept idea that we're striving for. But at the same time, I just want to, you know, put it out there that it was envisioned as a school in the woods, and some of the approaches to the planting were more kind of native in approach, and not just a you know, kind of a manicured high maintenance area throughout the site. That was kind of a long answer, but does that get to what you were thinking about?
Well, that answers a lot of my question. Is there a reason why the city and the school department aren't being asked to keep it up at this point?
Because it's still a construction project. And so the whole point of this is to not have it as a high maintenance area. That's something we're really focused on. And we're not going to spend a ton of time weeding all that area when that's actually just not done yet.
Right.
So we're going to let the teams do what they need to do to get it to the level that it's supposed to be. It's actually still a construction project at this point, so it's not finalized. So there are times that as we're working on things, they're not going to look the way they're supposed to look. When it's done, we will then take over the maintenance. And again, you know, a big part of this was to make those areas so we don't have to constantly be mowing those areas. That was not the intention of that. So,
Okay, well, that's,
sorry, just want to, it's certainly a responsibility of the contractor, and still is definitely 100% in their court. So it's good that the district, you know, did not get involved in that. And just say that also the plantings, once they are accepted by the landscape architect, then they have a 1-year warranty period. So even after, you know, the site's looking finished, the contractor will still be involved to some degree.
okay, well, that sort of answers the question. I wanted to make sure that we were fully answering it for the citizens of the city.
yep, I appreciate that, Steve, and although we didn't have to necessarily respond, I felt like it was easy enough for us to respond to. So thanks for bringing it up. I appreciate that.
Yes, and the other thing, Steve, is the planting season, like the spring planting season around here is up until April 15th. We all live here, so we could still have snow on April 15th. So it's a real short season, and just reiterating what Christian said and Dr. Pellegrino is we have not accepted, with the landscape architect has not accepted many of the grass areas. So it's still a work in progress. And they had a meeting with everybody earlier this week. Mark Hark was there. I was there for part of it, but we have a solid game plan and we're trudging forward. Central Nurseries has been here. They've had people pulling weeds for about a week now. So they started right after that Facebook post that came out. So the Monday after. So hopefully we're closing in on it.
Okay, well, thank you for the opportunity to speak and for providing clear answers on that.
No problem, Steve. Thank you. Any other comments from the public? Hearing none. This meeting, there's no need for executive session. Our next meeting is September 20th, 2023. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman, before you go, will that be a full committee meeting or just a subcommittee? We haven't had a full committee meeting for about 3 months.
I believe that's just the next subcommittee meeting.
Okay, so it'll be a subcommittee meeting on the 20th.
Yeah.
At 4 o'clock. Okay,
All right. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Thank you, Jen. Do I hear a second?
Second, Bob Schwartz.
Thank you, Bob. All in favor, just say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Excellent. This meeting, subcommittee has been adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody, for participating.
Thanks,
Good night.
David. See you.
okay.